Hello, and I'm sorry to keep all two of you waiting. I'm Jimmy the Geek Aficionado, and I have a change in how I'm collecting, and here to discuss that with me is my good friend and co-conspirator, Man Cave Comics.
Geek, thank
How
you
are
for
you,
having me
sir?
on.
Absolutely.
Unruly. Now, is Unruly actually still here? Because when he puts that peace symbol up, that usually means he's out of here.
Is that the peace out? Is that the peace out symbol?
I don't know. Maybe he's here, maybe he's not.
Well, we got three people there. Thank you, Byron. I'm sorry, Brian. I always get that. I always twist that every time I see his name. Sorry,
Just tell him you have terminal dyslexia. It's all good.
Right. That's exactly what it is.
That's why you read. That's why you read books with pictures.
Because in case I can't read I can always look at the pictures, right? So we'll wait for a few more people to join us, and we'll get rolling on this. But this seems like it's going to be a very interesting new effort on my part. But I have liquor to help.
Liquor always helps with comic acquisition, but not explaining to your wife later.
Yeah, not usually. Biggie Shack in the chat.
Biggie Unruly is in there. He's calling us cowards. We're gonna have to show him later, but
yeah. Yes, I have the doctor here in case something goes horribly wrong. Absolutely.
I'll call 911 and tell them that you're somewhere in the Chicago area.
Right? Yeah, somewhere north. I don't know.
North, south, somewhere.
You got my address. It's all good.
Take me 10 minutes to find it.
Right.
Gone.
That's a really good question. Unruly, yes, it's going to be the upcoming 60 months, or already started. Because I did actually find a couple of these beauties, but let me start off with how this all started. It's actually Alex, the comic order's fault, so I'm going to blame him. He was supposed to be here, but he has other. What's the word for that? He had prior engagements. Apparently, he and his wife are now starring in a play, and they have rehearsals. So we couldn't make it happen. Alex.
Off Broadway.
Like nowhere near Broadway. Like as far as a cornfield from Broadway could possibly be. Yeah. And we were also supposed to have Comic Books NYC, but he is not feeling well today, so he politely declined. But he will hopefully be in the chat if he's conscious, and we hope that he feels better. But needless to say, we had to get this going. I've actually been trying to get this going since July, which is kind of actually this whole thing started for me in June. Like I said, with these conversations with Alex, and those of you who follow Alex the Comic Order or have seen him on Instagram may be aware that he had been pushing the top 50 comics in your collection. Was it top 50? Top 20? Yeah, top 50 comics. Yeah. And then
he was going for top 50, and he's done a few videos with top 50 silver, mostly top 50 silver, but in this case, he was pushing all top 50.
Right. And he got a lot of people who jumped onto that. I had like the most difficulty, like trying to even think about, how to do that. And my comic room, quite frankly, is a disaster. So I abstained from it. But shortly after that, he was talking about how his top 10 had recently changed. And the reason for that is that he took advantage of the current market cycle, and he sold off a number of his big books, his Grail level books. And he rolled it into one very large one, which was a All-Star Comics number 8, the first appearance of Wonder Woman. Which, hey, who can blame the guy, right? He's taking advantage of current market conditions to move himself up into a massive book. And based on what he paid for it, it got me thinking. I'm like, okay, something like that, right? Like, yeah, that's a really expensive book. But let's be honest, it's not an impossible book, right? You know, even in the 4.0 that he got, you can get one in a lower grade, you know, pay probably half of what he paid, and still be able to have that book, right? And it's all about, you know, which, you know, what grade level you want to get on some of these, you know, and what your spare capital may be. But as we all know, those of us, you know, who are part of the dirty flippers and everybody else know that we can make small books turn into big books. But more importantly, what was really kind of driving this was thinning out my collection, because I have well over 20,000 books in my collection, right? Which, yeah, that's probably what a lot of people are going to say. It's a massive collection in that scale, and I don't read a lot of the you know, the books, like, you know, most of the books in my collection I have read, but I don't have an intention to read them again, right? You know, like maybe one day, and there's no reason for me to really hold on to them. Like, you know, we're talking like stuff like 80s, 90s, you know, to current, right? Especially like the last 20 years, right? With the exception of, you know, some of the keys, you know, like I read those stories, and if I want to read them again, let's be honest, I can go on to, you know, Marvel, you know, Marvel Universe, you know, app, and I can read this stuff, right? I can read anything that I want. So keeping it for a reading purpose really didn't suit me. So it's time to skinny the collection, right? So that's kind of like the gist of where this kind of came from. So that was paired actually with some of the recent videos that I've done about the Monster Marvel collection that I bought. So I bought a collection a couple years ago, if you haven't seen the videos. And in that collection was approximately 1,500 Marvel Silver and Bronze Age books. Yeah, and Brian, yeah, he's like, you know, trimmed 3,000 bucks from his stash during the pandemic. I totally get with that, right? You know, I mean, and as somebody who has moved these more than once can tell you, significant back injuries can result from moving 20,000 comic books.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, especially halfway across the country.
And I take you have them all in long boxes.
Actually, no, I do have them in file cabinets. I've got a really nice system, but they're not all in there, right? That was the other thing, right? I've got these nice file cabinets, but I still have racks of books, you know, outside of the file cabinets, because I don't have room.
How do you move a group of books from the file cabinet? You can just lift it out.
Oh, well, that you have to transfer them to long boxes and then move them and then put them back. Which is a pain, right? And costly. So what I intend to do is just to kind of keep the collection down to about, you know, most of it just in the silver bronze area, right? That's, you know, I'm sorry, gold, silver, bronze area, and everything else that's more modern, you know, to get rid of, right? You know, with the exception of like some series that I do really enjoy, and you know, yeah, just kind of, you know, skinny it down. Whatnot actually has been a huge opportunity for the rest of the community to be able to start, you know, kind of selling books. You know, I mean, you know, start popping them off at $1 a piece. They don't go one night, they may go another night, and you never know where they're going to go, right? So it saves you the hassle of, you know, having to lug everything to a comic convention or something like that. You can, you know, get access to, you know, hundreds, even thousands of people that are available on that app to be able to show up, and I can start, you know, selling the stuff and really kind of putting it towards good stuff, better stuff, right? That you know, that I'm missing, things that I'm missing, or things that I'm, you know, I'm yearning to get. But the big drive on this one was that Marvel collection, right? I bought this big Marvel collection, 1,400 books, silver, bronze, and I've, you know, gone through it. I've taken books out that were, you know, that you know, stuff I had holes in, and then, you know, swapping out books that were higher grade, you know, for my silver collection or bronze. And then the rest of it, you know, I was intending to sell. But this is an opportunity where I have a lot of books and keys that I'm going to sell. And it's like, okay, do I just turn this back into small fluff? Or do I really make an impression on my collection by just saying, okay, you know what I sell from this goes to a fund, and that fund is dedicated to getting Grails. And that's kind of where I've been with this since I actually started selling the stuff. And So I'm going to play a video, and this is just kind of, it's an overview of the books that I'm intending to get with the proceeds from skinning down my collection and from selling off this collection, and any other, some other methodologies that we'll go into afterwards. So I'm going to pop this up here, and we're going to drop this guy in here. Oh, no, that's not the right way, is it? Oh, that's the right way. So no collection would be complete without an Amazing Fantasy 15, right? So I just kind of threw some random books right off the top here.
Just random.
Random.
Threw a dart at a list.
The core 4, right? 5, I guess I should say. So these are actually the books that I'm missing from my Fantastic Four run. There's like a couple more, like 6 and 12.
Just those?
Just those, yeah. Yeah, 3, 6, and 12 are also on that list of books from Fantastic Four that I'm missing. And everybody's going to look at this list and go, well, of course, right? Because most people don't have these books or can't afford them. I got to tell you though, you can, right? If you get them the right way, or if you're able to, wheel and deal. So here's, getting out of the Marvel into some great stuff. I'm a huge Buck Rogers fan, so that Famous Funnies is big. Yeah. And I'm also a big Albedo or Usagi and Vampirella fan. And those are two that I really just need to add. Early DCs, right? You got your first Flash, first Silver Age, comic, first Captain Cold, Hal Jordan, Green Lantern, and of course the Justice League. Yeah, Brian. These are dollar bin pickups, yeah. And then who can, no collection's complete without the Bat, right? So you got first Catwoman in costume, origin of Catwoman, origin of the Batman, and then first Vicky Vale and Mad Hatter. I mean, I grew up on Batman 89, right? So yeah, you got to have Vicky Vale. Scarecrow.
First Penguin there too.
Yeah.
And
Rogues Gallery, Two-Face.
And Two-Face, right?
And having that first Scarecrow is nothing without having the cover, right? And then you got Riddler and first appearance of Catwoman on the cover. First cover in costume, really, before that Batman one. Martian Manhunter is one that doesn't get enough respect, but it is still pretty pricey. And then here's some lesser known and big ones. The origin of the Joker, first Superboy, first Spectre, and the first Aquaman, Green Arrow, and Speedy. I've been wanting that More Fun Comic 73 for a while.
Nice.
First Lex Luthor and the Fortress of Solitude. I don't show enough Superman love, but I do love me some Superman. And then we got Legion and Brainiac.
Oh, my.
Yeah, there's a couple of big books in here. First Justice Society, first Solomon Grundy. I love that Grundy cover. That Grundy cover is so awesome. And then these bottom ones, most people don't know about, right, is the first Black Canary and then the cover and first solo.
You could say that was a homage to the first Robin.
Right, yeah.
Sort of.
Kind of, yeah.
Kind of.
I love these Wonder Womans, and I want to go back and talk about these because, like, they're
first Magic Lasso there, number 6.
Yeah. Like, stuff that people don't even realize is, like, a big key.
First Cheetah
and Psycho Man. I love Psycho Man from the Harley Quinn cartoon. And then
I didn't realize that. Number 5 is first Psycho Man. That's new to me. All right.
Getting into some
yeah.
First Mary Marvel, Captain Marvel Jr., and then the Marvel family one, the first Black Adam. I'm probably going to wait until the end on that one, right? I'm going to let that Black Adam.
Yeah, that one's really shot up recently.
Yeah, so. Absolutely.
First Bender the Robot. Yep.
And then
just cool covers here, classics.
Yeah, these are the classics that I do love. I don't love a whole lot of pre-code horror, but these are really cool covers. And then
that Eisner cover with Spirit, that's a famous.
Oh my God, yeah. Art. Such a great cover.
Why stop there?
Well, because, the idea, I had to.
No, I'm just joking, man.
And I know, and it sounds funny. It's like, wow, that's a lot of books, right? And because I was like, okay, what do I go after? And there was all these books that I wanted, and 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 this isn't to say that I'm going to stop getting anything else. Like I'm still trying to complete my Batman runs from bronze, to current, and then that's going to go to Silver Age to current. So it's not like I'm just dedicating all of my collecting just to this, but it's more of a primary focus of trying to get these because, as you know, a lot of these books don't come up very often.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's actually really rare when they do come up. So that that makes a difference in how that's accessed, right? How that's handled.
Unruly says he only has 2, and I'd guess that he has Fantastic Four 2 and maybe 4, I think, but I could be wrong. Unruly.
You think so? we'll let him chime in on that then.
He might have 5,
right?
But that's a beautiful list, my man. And the Silver Age stuff you can get anytime you get the funds. The Golden Age, you sort of have to get them when you can get them. But even all of those I've seen in the last 2 years at some point, even a few times. They do come around.
They do. It's just not very often, right? I mean, we can all agree to that it's not very often that they do come around. Like particularly like these Wonder Woman ones, right? Like I was saying, you've got this here where
I struck out completely with Unruly. He has the Vamp one and first Loki. I forgot about that. The first Loki, I should have known.
See, that's cool. So Sensation 1, right, is not just her first solo, right? It's also the first Invisible Jet. I had gotten the origin of the Invisible Jet not that long ago, but I was like, crap, well, what's the first Invisible Jet? And I go, oh, Sensation 1. Well, so no big deal. That should be easy to crack down.
All 4 of those that you're showing are just big books.
And then Sensation 6, First Lasso of Truth. Yeah. I mean,
that's probably the most attainable, but you probably see it. Well, you don't see it too often. You see it as often as Sensation 1.
And most people that I see, like who are showing off some of these books, right? They're like 0.5s and such, right? And it's not always just like, oh, that's what they could afford. Sometimes that's all you can find, right? Because the books don't go out that often, right? And then sometimes when they do, they're like Promise Collection, and they're like 165,000 or something, like some ridiculous thing like that. I'm like, okay, I'm going to spend that.
Yeah, those. So what's your plan, man? Yeah, let's hear this.
Well, okay, so the list, as we know, right, is about it's. See how we flip through here.
How many did you show, by the way? I wasn't counting.
So there's a total of 60, right? There's 4 for France.
You just showed 60?
Yeah, this is 60 books.
Gosh, I guess it feels that's incredible.
Yeah, it feels like less or more. Who knows?
It feels a little less, but
15 slides, 4 books each. Yeah, the math works.
Wow.
But like I said, I mean, like none of these are necessarily hard to, well, I'm sorry, let me take that back. Not all of these are hard to find. Like you said, like the Silver Age ones, right? You can throw a rock and find somebody who's probably got one, right? It's just a matter of whether or not they're selling it for, a price that's reasonable or one you want to attain. And not one of these books really is like, even in low grades, like I'd say introductory grades is less than $1,000, right? And that's the other thing. So I figured, like, look, I spent the money on this collection already. I spent the money on the books that I have already. So this is just about turning that money back into something that I really want more. And that was the whole aspect that I was talking to Alex about, was just like, I don't want 20,000 books. I want these Grails. So now what do I part with in order to make room for it? And to be able to fund them,
and even if they were all slabbed, that would be a little more than 2 boxes of slab books, 60.
Yeah,
so you can carry it a lot easier.
This is also true. Yeah, moving is much easier, especially if it's like in a if it's in a safety deposit box, or something like that, because some of these are going to be really expensive to get. Anybody who's looked at, priced out a Showcase 4 knows that book is not cheap in any grade, but it is possible.
Now, are you looking for specific grades, or you're just going for complete? unrestored? Do you have, you've told me your preferences before. What are your quick?
So my preferences when it comes to silver, for the most part, like I like them complete, right? When I say complete, like I don't like chunks missing out of book. I don't like chunks missing out of any book, right?
Yeah.
But you have to kind of give up some of that a little bit, right? When you're getting into the really high dollar stuff, right? Because even something that's a 3.0 can have a chunk missing, you know? I'd prefer not to have one, but hey, is what it is. When it comes to Golden Age, though, I mean, like, when it comes to Golden Age, you have to give up all expectations, right? You get what you get.
Do you mind restored?
On Golden Age, no, not at all.
But silver, no.
Silver Age, yeah, I wouldn't touch a Silver Age restored book.
That's similar to me.
It's just because you can get one that's not, and you can get a low grade one that's not. I might pick up one that's like small amount of color touch, right? Just to get it at a discount, have the color touch removed, and then get the blue label maybe at a lower grade or maybe the same grade, and then now it's worth more money, right? So that's an aspect that I might look at. Yeah, those are tough. Yeah, I did actually get to Tales to Astonish 13 for a little bit. That is very true.
You should have ghosted everybody and taken off with it.
Right.
Where did Geek go? Do you actually have an order, or you're just going to look for the opportunity?
It's opportunity, right? I mean, when you get into the like we said, the aspects of like the Golden Age stuff, it's if it shows up, right, you got to take those opportunities when they come, right? Because you're not going to see them.
Even the silver, if you get a good silver right now, you want to be ready to pull the trigger.
Yeah,
your danger, Geek, is the same danger we all have. Is if you keep focused, you're going to start getting these grails. But if you start buying a bunch of modern books and going, ooh, I like that cover, and you go to a convention and you pick up a bunch of stuff, you have to try to rein in your focus your discipline and be very, I mean, I would say don't even look at Instagram what's for sale until unless it's one of the things that you're looking for.
Well, I also have a small list of stuff that like I'm missing from the runs, the Silver Age runs, right? Like early Dreams.
So you have more goals. You're gonna run filler.
Again, like those, I mean, those, if they're like, maybe $100 or something like that, to get, a solid grade.
If you sell everything in between all those comics you're trying to get, you get some of those comics.
This is true. This is
get rid of the runs.
I don't buy modern comics anymore. Okay. Like I don't, like I get some, just through my LCS, through like, doing work for them. But like, it's like limited to like X-Men, some covers, and Batman. That's it. I just don't pick up anything because number one, I don't have time to read the stuff, right? Because I'm so busy with work and then, side hustle on this, right? So whether I'm doing this or I'm pressing or whatever the case is, there's a lot to do. So
you have a lot of alternate revenue streams. You got the pressing and the pressing you do. You got a lot of books you can sell.
Yeah, and I mean, I haven't spent my money, like earned money from my job on comics in 3 years.
Yeah.
And if you watch my videos, I pick up some impressive stuff.
Yeah.
I really
So what do you already have? You were alluding to some stuff you already have. Are you ready to show that?
Oh, yeah. I was, as I was going through this, like I said, I was talking to a couple of people, friends in the community on Instagram and YouTube. And one of them I kind of floated it to, and he was like, wow, that's really, that's a tough list. And then like, a couple weeks later, he hits me up. He goes, hey, how would you like to knock a couple of books off your list? And I was like, wait, what? Because he had them. But he wanted to move them because he also loves, like Kavi, original art. Mm-hmm. And he got an opportunity to find, a piece to him that was epic in proportion and scale for his collection. And he went after it. And he's like, hey, I need to move these. I'm offering them to my best friend first. You're second on the list. If he turns them down, they're yours. And I was like, okay. And like later in that day, this was like a Sunday, and I was like literally just sitting there thumbing through Instagram when he hit me up, and he told me about these two books, and I was just like shocked. So I had 2 weeks, 2 weeks to come up with $8,500, which is not an easy task. But it really kind of pushed me to go, am I all in on this, or am I just, talking? So I went all in, and I figured out, okay, these are books in my collection that I either have duplicates of, or I was going to sell anyway. And I started moving stuff, I started kind of coming up with, hey, can I do this? Because I don't want to string the guy along if I can't do it, right? So I just started, in the time I was waiting for him to talk to his friend about, whether he wanted, I was making a list. What books can I sell? Hey, Los. How you doing, brother?
Los, JP.
For the books, one, this list, two, for 8,500 is reasonable, which is frightening to me. Yeah. So, but this is the whole point, JP, is like I had to look at what I had in my collection to be able to go, okay, can I afford to do this, right? Because I can't just well, let me just take money out of the bank, right? I can't take that from my family. That's not the way this works. My money for my family is my money for my family. If I'm going to do something like this has got to be all funded through my hobby, right? My fun. This is what I want to do on the side. So it's all got to come from there. But I looked through all of the inventory that I had, and I was like, okay. And I put together a list, and I was like, holy crap, I can do this. But I have to sell this stuff within 2 weeks. And I won't go into what I sold, because I actually have that for another video. It'll be basically, it's like, how did I fund these two books? But I will. I'll show off what I got, and this is where things kind of get a little crazy. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a look at the list, and I'm gonna stop on a particular slide, and you guys tell me which one you think I got from this slide. So first,
I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not saying anything.
You can't say anything, right? Because So everybody who's in the chat right now, all 6 people, give me your guess as to which book.
And if you guess it right, Jimmy will send you some comics from his 20,000.
Right? Yeah, I'll send you some consolation prizes.
Just kidding.
All right. Unruly says All American 61. All right.
Ooh, that would be something.
Wouldn't it? Oh my gosh. Well, it doesn't matter what's on this thing. It's JP goes for the Justice Society. Joey Bag of Sevens is also for the Solomon Grundy. Biggie's also for the Justice Society, so that's 4. We got 3 more. Lowe says All-Star Comics 3.
Well, they all have good taste and sound judgment.
Yeah, absolutely, right? And so let's get a little drum roll.
Well, they're all wrong, though.
They actually are all wrong. Because I got Flash Comics number 86. This is the first appearance of Black Canary. Now, this isn't Dinah Laurel Lance. This is Dinah Drake. So if you watch the Arrow TV show, she was actually the second Black Canary on the show, and not related. And actually, in actuality, Dinah Drake is the mother of Dinah Lance. She married the police. Is he a detective? I think police detective Lance, and they had Dinah, and she shows up actually in Justice League of America number 75.
Now, I hate to sound cliche, but that presents very nicely for a 1.5.
It really, really does. So this has got some water damage to it.
What's the page quality on that?
Page quality is cream to off-white.
Oh, that's nice.
It's not uncommon for a book of the Golden Age. So there is you can see it here, there's a large tear through the top of the front cover, and it's also detached over here. And there's some other significant damage, but it has not been pressed. And to be honest with you, I'm thinking about cracking this one out and cleaning and pressing it just to make it present nicer, because it does have a little bit of a spine roll to the back. But more importantly, it's just dirty. And if I can clean it up and make it present better, it might go up to a 1/8. I might even be able to reattach one of the staples, but because there's so much rust on the staples, I'm just, the staple actually might just disintegrate. I don't know. And I don't know how much that's going to affect the grade. But this one is one that I might do.
It'll if it starts becoming covers not attached, or anything, if they all depends on if just one falls off.
Yeah, the cover's already not attached. It says cover detached, tape on interior, piece out of page 1, slightly affect story. That might keep it actually at the 1.5, but it might get up to a 1.8 is what I'm thinking. not sure.
I vote for leave it. I vote for leave it alone.
Right,
because it looks beautiful to me.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is great. I mean, I love it. I absolutely love it. And like I said, I'm reluctant to do anything with it, but just to, make it a little bit more presentable, I might be interested in doing that. I don't know. I don't know. Time will tell, right? So that one's knocked off the list.
Now, all of this, how many months do you have left? Are you counting now as 6 months, or are you counting from June?
So I'm actually counting from July.
I'm sorry for thinking for 5 years.
This. Yeah, so I started thinking about this in June, and my intent was because I contacted you guys initially about this July, August, I think, because I wanted to present this, right? Because this is big for me in my collecting journey, right? This is a massive change in what I'm doing and what I have been doing. But I still pick up deals when I find deals, right? I still have other holes that I need to fill, but this for me is something, like I said, this was more about let's skinny down the collection. Let's sell off that big collection that I bought, because I bought it with the intent to farm out the stuff that I needed and the key issues and everything, and put that kind of back as potential, trade fodder or what have you, or even just to build my portfolio of books, right? Just because I have 3 copies of Marvel Premiere 15 in various grades doesn't mean I'm necessarily ready to get rid of one unless opportunity presents itself. Somebody's looking for one and they have something I want, or I can sell these to get something like this, because that's really what happened, is that I sold books in my collection that I had no intention to sell to get these, but it's how it came up. So the 60 months, the 5 years starts July, so second half of the year. All right, so I've got till June 2027.
All right.
2026, yeah, June 2026 to complete the run. But I actually do have another book, so we get to play the guessing game again. So that one's knocked out, and then there's another one on another one of these slides. Wait, did we pass it? I think we passed it. There's another one from here that I got. So, all right. So everybody put your guesses on this slide. Which book did I get along with the Flash Comics 86? And JP, you're right. It does present well for a 1.5. Simeon's on the keep it in tune side of things.
Yep, Simeon's correct.
Right.
Great minds, but I'm agreeing with Simeon. Okay.
Yeah.
He seems like a smart guy.
So we've got 2 for Tech 168. JP says more fun 52. That first Spectre is a gem. It really is.
Yeah.
Because I've been trying to get the Adventure Comics Spectre issues.
The Bronze Age ones?
Yeah, the Bronze Age ones in high grade.
Those are beauties.
Yeah, they really are. Come on, we got 9 people in here. I got 3 for Tech 168. I got Unruly says More Fun 101. We got one.
At least we got some correct. We got a correct answer this time. So
we do actually have
a few correct. I'm not going to.
So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 for the Red Hood, first origin of Joker. We got 1 for Superboy. We've got 1 for Spectre. All right, so let's do the reveal, right? Oh, and B. Ramey says More Fun 73. First Aquaman, Green Arrow, and Speedy. I want that book so bad.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not the one that I got. It is, in fact,
Boom.
Red Hood.
That's beautiful. And that's a hard one to get, even though it's a 1950s book. It's just not easy to get. And
February
high grades, forget it.
It's hard to get in any grade.
Yeah, any grade.
Any grade. I mean, you go out there and look, and then, of course, you're paying buku bucks.
People buying superhero comics were at a real nadir at that point in time.
Right.
So,
yeah, Biggie, I don't know. I don't think the Spectre is the biggest one. I think this is actually the biggest one in that group, to be honest with you, because I really think that it's incredibly difficult to find. And nobody wants to get rid of it, right? Because they know that it's the origin of the Joker.
Spectre's pretty big though too. That 52 is ridiculously.
Yeah. I definitely put it.
They're all. I mean, the one I've seen the most probably is More Fun 101, and followed by More Fun 73. But Spectre, that 52, you could argue that's the rare. That's very hard to find. Yeah. This one is a little, but it's still. It's great book, obviously.
I mean, it was wet, right? Just like the other one. And there's there's color loss across the top and over here and everything, but it still presents really well for a 1.5 to be able to just to have up on a stand and everything. I mean, it's great. Covers detached on this one, right? You can see if you look closely here, right, there's a lot of rust migration, right, from being wet for so long. Yeah, absolutely. Spectre is awesome. He disappeared for 20 years. Yeah, I got the showcase where he came back in a nice grade, and then I'm trying to find those adventure books because
the Aquaman disappeared for many years as well. And as a matter of fact,
he did.
Anybody in the audience know where the first cover appearance of Aquaman is? It's in your list.
It is. We have to take a look. Where is that?
This book never gets credit for that. It gets credit for something else, but it never gets credit for being the first cover appearance of Aquaman, period.
Yeah, that is true. Isn't it Brave and the Bold 28?
Bing, ding, ding, ding. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, it's the first cover appearance of Aquaman right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Always forget it because he didn't have did he have a long run of stories in
I'm not sure how long he was in More Fun Comics, but I think it was about a 20-year lull between his disappearance and reappearance in Justice League as well. So I'm not sure though.
Wait a second. No, hold on a second. That can't be right. Brave and the Bold can't be his first cover appearance because Showcase 30 is his first Silver Age appearance.
It's his first solo Silver Age, I thought. I could be wrong, though. I could be wrong. Someone in the audience, look it up.
I'm going to check dates.
You should put that on the Grail.
I got that Showcase 30 this year. That was a great book to get. Because I've been after that one for a while, especially since nobody's looking at that stuff. So that's February 61.
The Showcase is?
Showcase is February of 61.
Ooh, it's going to be, I think it's 1960s, Brave and the Bold, I think. But I'm not 100% sure. Check it.
Brave and the Bold. Brave and the Bold 28 is February of 60. It's a whole year earlier.
Yep. Because I remember Justice League appeared about a year before Fantastic Four. So
So then, that makes that his first solo Silver Age.
Yes. And it's really his first solo comic, period.
True. Yeah. I mean, first solo appearance, right? Like, what he's not. Well, I don't know.
I mean, first solo comic dedicated to him as a solo character. I should.
Yeah, I don't know if that whole book.
Quibbling. It's a beautiful book, but get that Brave and the Bold 28, man. It's beauty.
Absolutely. Biggie made a point earlier about it being like a good time to get that book, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know necessarily if it is right now the best time to get that book, because we had the Justice League movie recently. I think it's going to cool off a little bit more. The Aquaman one, that's probably a good one. Like, especially like the Aquaman and Green Arrow. I mean, no matter what, those are going to be. Those are going to be tough books to get.
One of the good things and bad things about Golden Age comics is the movie hype doesn't affect it as much. It's just their scarcity makes them a little more immune to that kind of hype, because you can't just go and buy it and flip that and speculate. Right. It's more of a long term. So on the flip side, they don't go down in value. Now, I don't know Batman 1 has gone up a lot recently, but I don't think it's because of any hype. I just think there's been a renewed interest with Silver Age being so expensive.
Yeah, I mean, that's true, but I mean, Batman #1 is Batman #1, right? It's the first appearance of the Joker, first appearance of Selena Kyle, right? It's always going to be a huge book, no matter what. Even if there wasn't key appearances in that, I still think that would be a huge book, because of it's just like Superman #1 is a huge book.
You could argue it's going to where it should have been 5 years ago in the first place.
And Biggie, you're right. I mean, it's just because for me, like, I'm always going to go after Raw if I can get Raw, right? And these got offered to me. He had them graded in slab and everything already, and I got these below market value. I can definitely tell you that he did me a solid, because he wanted to move them. He didn't want to make them unobtainable, because he had a timeline as well. But these books are just fantastic.
Going for Raw means you really have to be even more of an opportunist, even for the Silver Age, because Silver Age keys are disappearing from the Raw space because everybody's grading them at this point. So
exactly. Well, same way everywhere. When it comes to Golden Age, usually it's just like somebody's got a collection and you're just waiting for it to get turned over to somebody else to actually start sending out the keys for grading. And then the values go up. So I always. Anybody who's watched Slab City knows I buy Raw and I sell Slab. That's just the way that I roll, right? I'm always going to try and get the Raw book for the best dollar value I can, and then grade it, and then have that either to keep or to sell.
Yeah. So. But that is a beautiful book that you just showed, the Red Hood cover, the origin of the Joker.
Oh yeah, just to get it, just to have it. I mean, I'm still like stunned that I have it.
Yeah,
and this doesn't mean that I'm not going to have a hunt list, every year, because I always have things that I have to focus on, right? It just means that I'm probably going to pick a few books out of this list that are going to be the ones I'm going to be going after, and because this is late getting recorded or doing this presentation, this was back in July that I got these first two, and I've actually got 4 more since then. So I have some other videos already lined up that I'm going to be showing over the time as I'm picking these books up. I've got these already ready to go to list out. So be on the lookout.
You're 1/10 of the way done. Good job, man.
Right? Yeah. I did. I knocked out. Yeah. I'm good for the year, right? I've met my quota for the remainder of this year. So now I'm working on next year, and I gotta tell you, I've already identified other books, and I'm working towards them, and I'm doing deals in order to secure those books. And 2 of the biggest ones on the list are actually very much within my grasp. So that'll be some good upcoming conversations and such.
Most definitely.
I've got one that's still in the box right now. I haven't even opened, and it's one of my favorites. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to open this box. But like, I promised myself I would do this so that I could share it with all of you. And yeah, yes, I already have 6 of them. One's actually should be at my mailbox tomorrow, thanks to DS Comics. So you can go back and check his inventory of things and think about what he might not have anymore. Especially since he got that ASM 4 and an 8.0. Yeah. So yeah, I've it's been an opportunity thing, right? And that's the thing that I can say about this is that it's been so opportunistic. And I'm not going, okay, this is the book I'm going to go after this year, or this is the book I'm going to go after this month. It's just been like, as things get presented, I'm like, okay, can I do that? Do I have the capital to do that? Or somebody's got a book and I'm like, okay, give me a month, right? Which is what I did with one of them recently. Actually, I did that with another book that I'm going to use to turn over to buy another one of the Grail. Right. It was a 2-book deal. One of them was a Grail, and one of them was a Grail of other people's, right? Well, also mine, but I already had it. So it was one I was going to be able to go, okay, you know what? I've got this, and I'm going to flip this over for something else.
Now you're going by numbers, so you want to get 6 per 6 months?
Well, I'm trying to keep pace, right? That's the thing, right? Like, just like a runner, you got to keep pace, right? You want to meet that goal line at that specific.
But there's 2 ways to look at it. There's a value graph there.
Right.
So you could say you got a percentage of the value that you're trying to get. Now that will obviously go up and down depending on the value of these comics.
Right.
But you can almost delude yourself that you have 1/10 of the goal when in fact the whole value you may have 1% of the whole goal or less.
Right. Absolutely. like on this page right here, this is probably 3 of the highest valued books, right?
Right.
Amazing Fantasy 15, Hulk 1, Journey to Mystery 83, right? I mean, even Spider-Man 1. Spider-Man 1 is a really expensive
That's a very expensive book, yeah.
It is, right? But it's nothing compared to Amazing Fantasy, right? You get a grade, you can get a grade lower and it's double the money. So these 4 books right here, those are, 4 of the biggest ones. And I can tell you
I would say
now,
Journey to Mystery 83 is your best deal out of those right now.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I can tell you right now, I have eyes on all 4 of these right now.
Nice.
And I'm trying to work the angle, right? But I know at least one of them is a definite, and the other 3 are options.
And they're raw. That's pretty good.
No, actually,
so you buying those slabs?
3 of them are graded.
Okay.
Right, because like I said, it just becomes an opportunity buy, right? And then Fantastic Four #1 is a huge book, and #5 is trailing it by not much.
Yeah,
right. That book is climbing like mad. It's absolutely ridiculous how fast that it's actually moving. These 4, not too bad. These 4, that Albedo #1. Because
the Albedo #2 depends on what grade you want it.
The Albedo #2. So I'm kind of being really a pain in the ass about this one because I have Usagi 1 and I have Albedo 4, both in a 9.6.
So you're looking for that grade?
I'm looking to be able to possibly get that grade, right?
All right, now that makes it challenging.
Yeah, that makes that book really expensive. Right? It totally does. Vampirella, I would love to get Vampirella in a solid grade, right?
Right, because a lower grade Vampirella is very attainable too.
Exactly, right? Like all my magazines so far have been 9.0, so like my goal is like 9.0. Right? But again, pricey. Showcase 4 and Showcase 20.
Showcase 8's not too bad.
That's 8's not too bad.
That's undervalued since it's first Captain Cold. It's actually, to me, he's a pretty well-known DC villain, and
exactly. And he's one of my favorites, right? Of like all of the Flash pantheon of villains, the rogues. He's my favorite out of all of them, right? And they had a great person doing him in portraying him in the Flash TV show. You know, it
Mm.
was unfortunate that they killed him off way too soon. Brave and the Bold, again, not too bad. You know, the Showcase has been climbing. Showcase 22 has been climbing.
Oh, has it?
Okay. Yeah, because of the HBO, series and all that. But we know 4 is always a big book. Batman 3 is a big book. Batman 47 is, a big book. Again, in lower grades, right? These are still, I would say these 3 in lower grades are still, like in the 1,000 range. This guy is probably, closer to 10.
Yeah.
Because it's so, low number Batman. These 2 books are ridiculous. World's Finest 3 and Detective 73.
Yeah.
But the Two-Face
Tech 66, I feel, is the most attainable out of those, actually. And it goes for surprise. If you don't want a really high grade, it's better than it's easy. It's not as bad as you think, that one.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Now that
Riddler's gone a little.
Yeah.
Riddler, I consider Riddler and your original Joker comic, that's really like the Atomic Age Batman almost, and because they're not that World War II era Golden Age, and they're the 2 most valuable of that era.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, getting a decent Tech 140 is really tough, and then the Batman 121 is got to be the single most expensive Silver Age Batman book. I can't even understand why it's so damned expensive.
People love Mr. Freeze, yeah.
Who loves Mr. Freeze? Like people love Arnold Schwarzenegger.
People who are comic collectors.
Movie. Yeah, because I still have no idea why that book is so expensive, right? I honestly think it's as expensive as the Tech 225, right? Which should be miles above it, but it's not. And the Tech 122, it's decent change, but again, not big. But yeah, this guy, I mean, that 1.5 was about 6,500. Right, that was a massive chunk for that one book, and then the Spectre is going to be the next big one on that list. You're right. I already located a Superboy. Actually, I've got a deposit on it. So
wow,
he's on the list. Yeah, he's coming down soon.
That's attainable.
Yeah, Brainiac is up there with that Mr. Freeze.
I always worry that Brainiac one's going to really pop if they ever put him in anything worthwhile. If they actually use that character, right?
So true.
But
Legion of Superheroes, I would love to have. I love the Legion. I love this book. I really want to get that one. So that might be one I'm a little bit more aggressive towards.
Action honestly. 23, first Lex Luthor, goes for way less than it should, in my opinion.
Yeah, but again, it's also not easy to track down. There's not a lot of them. And that Superman 17... has a double whammy on it, right? Which you can appreciate.
Yeah, it's a Hitler cover, so it right there it goes for more, and it's the only Superman with a Hitler cover, so that raises its price. And the Fortress of Solitude,
yeah, and then being the first Fortress of Solitude, and there's also the one with where he's hoisting the key, which is this is like the first prototype.
The Silver Age one,
this is like,
that's really the Fortress of Solitude as we know it in the Silver Age one.
So those are there, but that's a big book right there.
I forget what they call it. They don't even call it the Fortress of Solitude in that they call it the I forget, but it's different.
Yeah,
I actually have that raw, and I was showing the inside to people at some point. It's pretty funny.
It's a cool book. Yeah.
And
it says Fortress of Solitude on it on the label. But
if you look inside, they call it something a little different. It's essentially the Fortress of Solitude. It's like the
And then this guy, All-Star 3, that's going to be a big book, especially with the Black Adam movie. So again, that one may be one that has to cool a little bit, or it just happens to be opportunity.
Yeah.
And then All-Star 8, that's we're talking in the tens, right? For that as well.
Yeah, even a 1.5. I tried to get a 1.5 of that, and it went for 16, I think. And that was a year ago.
Yeah. Absolutely. Sensation 1 and Wonder Woman 1, I think, are kind of in similar areas. You're right, that Lasso of Truth might be the easiest one to get in that group. Um,
Oh yeah.
Police
Now,
One. I never.
Police One is it doesn't show up a lot, but it's still it's not terribly expensive actually. That's not too bad.
I only
Yeah.
know one person that actually has that book, unless
Ooh,
you have it, and then it would be
I
two.
do have it, so you
All
know
right, so I
two.
know two people that have that book. The other one is the Great Legend.
Yeah, we were actually I was talking Great Legend DM me at some point because I showed it on Instagram and we were yapping about it.
Yeah,
And it's it's the Plastic Man's just in that corner there, and it's the first time in there. It's also the first Phantom Lady, first Mr. Bomb, and
yeah,
first Scarlet Hood or Scarlet whatever that guy actually who's featured. Plastic Man's first cover is Police 5, where he's really doing something.
yeah.
But it has a lot of important characters. And speaking of Phantom Lady, that Phantom Lady 17 is probably one of the most famous Matt Baker cover.
Exactly right. So why
So
why would I go low on that, right?
yeah,
I'm actually eyeing a couple of other Phantom Ladies. And again, they're not cheap. And even
yeah, that run, there's a brief run there where Matt Baker did a few of them, like 14 through 19. I forget how many he did,
yeah,
but
yeah, I think you're right.
that one's the most popular one by far. The other one where she's steering a ship's not as cool a cover. You picked the right cover if you're going to go for one. That's it.
I've got line on the one where she's steering the ship. I still think it's a great cover.
Yeah.
But like I have the Adam Hughes homage of this, right? It's like that's the coolest I've gotten so far.
That'd be awesome to put them right next to each other and just show them.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you and I have talked before. I mean, I love me some Captain Marvel, right?
Yeah.
There's some good stuff in there.
Yeah, there's a lot of good Fawcett keys and these that he's showing, not the Startling Comics first Bender. That's pretty expensive, but and Marvel Family 1's gotten more expensive because of the Black Adam hype, but those top two are actually pretty reasonable priced.
They are. Yeah, they are. I haven't seen a Wiz 25 very often. I've seen 18, like it's on eBay.
Yeah.
But like when you showed that one last year, I was actually in California with my wife on for our anniversary, and I was driving to pick up dinner, and I was listening to you. I think it was on the Hunt.
Okay.
And you pulled that out. No, it wasn't the Hunt. No, it was I want to say it was Power Hour, Mega Power Hour. And you pulled that out. I was like, oh, that book is so awesome.
Which one, the 18 or the
18?
Wiz 25? Yeah.
Yeah, you had the 18. I don't think I've seen you actually pull the Wiz 25, but yeah, that Captain Marvel Adventures 18, that first Mary Marvel is such a great book.
It's a great painted cover.
It is.
And it's a great first appearance because she's really on it.
Wiz
Comics 25 is first Captain Marvel Jr., but he's not in it. He's not on the cover, so it takes away a little bit.
And these Startling comics are great. It's that Bender cover, like that famous robot cover.
Oh yeah, that's a very famous cover. That's when Schoenberg went from his crazy, timely. Those comics is when he started doing his airbrush covers, and they're just beautiful.
Right.
Yeah.
I've always been a huge fan of that Eisner Spirit. Right there, that one's like that's a big one for me.
Yeah, I was eyeing one on Torpedo, but then I looked carefully, and they have a date stamp right on her forehead. Really killed it.
It's actually kind of funny. I've seen that. Like I saw that at MegaCon, and I saw that at their.
It's like I don't mind date stamps, but that was the worst place date stamp ever.
Yeah, it's a couple of bucks too. And then of course Alex gets this Chamber of Chills 19.
Oh my god, that was one of the best pickups ever.
Oh my god, his
he got Black Cat 50 as well, the cigarette face exploding, face disintegrating cover.
It was ridiculous what he got. But I was like, dude, I need that Chamber of Chills, and he's like, I already sold. I'm like, you just aired the video. Yeah, he got those, and he got tons of offers on everything. So yeah, he was like, I'm not really interested in selling. They're like, okay, I'll give you 2,000 more for the stuff. I'm like, come on.
Yeah,
those Golden Age guys, they go after this stuff. So that's what makes this more challenging for me. Is like, there's some Golden Age guys that are like, really go after these books, and some of them are hoarding, which is not cool, right? Because they've got like 5 or 6 copies, Antelope. and they don't want to like let any of them go. And they're just like, oh, and every time they see one, they buy one, and they overbid people, and they overbid the book, and it's just like, come on,
Yeah.
be a friend of the community, and let some other people have some stuff. You know,
Yeah.
that's all I gotta say.
Yeah, there's someone on Instagram who's famous for doing that, and she probably has 6 of those Chambers of Chills 19, along with a ton of other things. Yeah, we're not going to talk about her.
Yeah, exactly.
Captain America, Weird Tale 74. That's
Love
just
that
such
book.
a crazy time for Captain America. They were trying to figure out what to do with Captain America.
What was it, like
because
2 issues they did the Weird Tales thing on, then they went back
they had
to the main.
3 sort of creepy one. The 73 was also sort of a horror one. 74 is that one, and then 75 just says Captain America on the top, but Captain America is not even in the comic at all, nor is he on the cover. It says Captain America's Weird Tales, and it's not nearly as, this one's the one you're showing here is the very expensive one, because that's Red Skull on the cover. So
yeah, and that's what I love about it. It's like Red
Yeah.
Skull being, very very creature like, demonic, going after Cap. But didn't it end at like 76 or 78 or something like that?
75 is the last one technically, because as I said, Captain America is not even in it. It's called Captain America's Weird Tales, and there's no Captain America or Red Skull on the cover. It really is just a pre-code horror comic. And then 76 is when Atlas Comics revamped Captain America. It was a few years. I don't know how many years happened between them, but they brought him back with Atlas, and that's where it was only 3 comics, so 76, 7.
I was gonna say, it was like it ended in the 70s. I know that much.
Yeah. Yep. 78 was the last one. 76 was the first of the Atlas comics. The Weird Tales, the 75 is the last timely. So that's it. I mean, I'm just trying to, to pound these out and like make this a priority for my collecting, and get rid of the fluff that I don't need. It's just, it's just baggage, right? It's just excess baggage. So you're going to go on that Whatnot or WhatsApp, whatever it's called, and you're going to send a lot.
So I've been looking at this, and I have multiple channels, right? So I have books that I'm sending to CGC, and as I'm getting them back, I'm going to be listing them on my sales channel website, which is infernocomics.com or infernocomicsstores.com. And I put the same stuff on Shortbox. I put it on eBay, obviously at a slightly higher price, right, to cover the fees, right? So the best deal is going to be, the stuff on the website, along with, any of the other like Silver and Bronze Age books that I'm selling.
So you've already put a lot of stuff out there. Right now.
I've been trying to get the time to put the stuff into it, so it's like it's going to be there. So like, keep an eye on it. Like more things will get added over time. Just like Reggie collects. It's like I'm just putting books that I've got from my collection. I'm just kind of putting them onto there as a way that you can buy them, for lesser price. I'm going to start doing more. If I don't sell the bulk of it to a third party here this week, then it'll just start showing up on the website more often. And I'll start doing videos like, hey, just put these up, right? You can pick these up, so on and so forth. I'm doing that. I'm taking this stuff to little microcons in the area. And there.
Chicago probably has a good amount of those.
Chicago has almost none. I have to actually
really?
I have to go over the border to Wisconsin. Like, Milwaukee, Kenosha, that area, that actually has a lot more. And then Whatnot, right? That's a great place to actually unload, stuff and let people bid on like, small keys and things like that, or put stuff up for buy it now, and do that kind of stuff. And I'm just going to be like taking like everything that like all the bulk, it's just going to go up there, and it's going to be like dollar, like, and it's 1 minute bidding times, right? And if it goes a little more, it goes a little more. But I'm starting doing like lunchtime, stuff, and just putting the stuff up there. Like, if I'm home at lunchtime, I'm just going to do a run and let people try buying it at that time, or just but through Whatnot. And like those are like the main areas, to try and build up the volume of cash that's really required to make this happen.
Well, if someone can get all those grails, I think you're definitely highly likely.
I'm motivated.
You're motivated, and you're industrious. You have the pressing and cleaning and a lot of comics to sell. So
sadly, the pressing and cleaning right now is more dedicated to house stuff and vacations. Because I'm sharing that time that I'm away from the family with things to do with the family. So we've got a couple of big projects around the house. So that's kind of dedicated to that for right now, at least for like the next year. But after that, it'll be able to feed a lot back into this. So so it's all about the hustle, and I'll have a video out soon that talks about what I did in order to get these, so that people don't just go, oh, he's just got spare cash laying around and he makes a ton of money in his job. No, I literally spent $0 out of my own pocket. It's all comic money.
We'll have to meet again in July, see where you're at.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well,
that'll be, and then you can show all the ones you already showed on video.
There'll be definite check-ins happening on this, but thanks everybody for hanging out in the chat.
Thanks for having me on, man.
And on the rewatch. And
that was really fun.
Absolutely. Thank you
My
for
pleasure,
joining me on this. And my condolences to your wife for sparing you this time.
Oh no, she'll make me pay. Don't you worry.
Well, I look forward to hearing about that too.
Yeah, really.
All right. Thanks, and have a good night, everybody.
Later.